There is something moving in your direction right now, Aries. Not a coincidence, not a random event, something deliberate, something that has been building beneath the surface for longer than you might realize. Conversation is coming. Not just any conversation. This is the kind of exchange that shifts the entire course of a situation, rearranges the energy in a relationship, or reopens a chapter you thought had quietly closed. You may not know exactly when it will arrive. You may not even know exactly who it will be with. But somewhere deep inside you there is already a knowing. A low hum of readiness, a sense that words are gathering, that truth is pressing up against the edges of everything you have been holding in. That is not your imagination. That is your inner fire preparing you. Aries, you are ruled by movement, by courage, by the willingness to go first. And this time, the universe is not asking you to charge in without preparation. Instead, it has been leaving clues, small, quiet, undeniable clues, that a very important conversation is already on its way. These 11 clues are here to help you see what has already been happening around you. Pay close attention. Something is about to change. Clue 1. You have been rehearsing things you want to say even to yourself. You have noticed it, have you not? Those moments when you are in the shower or driving or lying in the quiet before sleep, and the words start forming on their own. You find yourself saying things out loud that you have never quite found the courage to say to the person they were meant for. You replay past conversations and think about what you would say differently now. You rehearse a version of yourself that speaks more clearly, more directly, more honestly. This is not random thinking, Aries. This is preparation. Your mind and your spirit are doing the deep, important work of getting you ready for something that is coming. For someone like you, who leads with action and rarely second-guesses your direction, there is something significant about the fact that you are taking this kind of time. You are not just thinking, you are crafting. You are choosing words with care. You are feeling out the weight of sentences before you speak them. That tells you something. It tells you that whatever conversation is coming, it matters to you in a way that goes beyond the surface level. It is not a casual exchange you are preparing for. This is something real. Think about who keeps appearing in those mental rehearsals. There is usually a face, a voice, a relationship that keeps rising to the top. Your mind is not visiting that person randomly. There is unfinished energy between you and them, energy that has been patient long enough and is now beginning to press for resolution. The fact that you keep going back to these imagined conversations in your private moments tells you that your soul has already identified what needs to happen. Your inner fire is burning quietly around this situation, keeping it warm, refusing to let it grow cold, because it knows the moment is coming. Let yourself take these rehearsals seriously. Do not dismiss them as overthinking. For you, Aries, action and thought are not opposites. The rehearsal is part of the action. Every time you return to those words in your mind, you are doing something brave. You are deciding that the truth inside you deserves to be spoken. You are deciding that the relationship or the situation, or the chapter at the center of all this matters enough to be honored with honesty. That is courage. That is your nature at its very finest. Pay attention to which words feel the truest. Pay attention to the moments when you feel the most settled about what you want to say. Those are the words that will carry the real power when this conversation finally arrives. The rehearsal is not wasted time. It is the universe giving you the gift of readiness, making sure that when the moment comes, you will not fumble or freeze. You will speak with the kind of clarity that only comes from someone who has carried something for a while and is finally truly ready to let it be heard. This clue is one of the clearest signs the universe can send you. When your own mind becomes the rehearsal space for a conversation you have not yet had, it means that conversation is no longer just a possibility. It is already scheduled. The date and time are simply not yet visible to you, but the preparation has already begun, and that preparation is proof that what is coming is real. Clue 2. A relationship has been carrying unspoken tension that needs release. There is a relationship in your life right now that feels like a held breath. Maybe it is a close friendship. Maybe it is a family connection. Maybe it is someone you have shared something deeply personal with, or perhaps someone you thought you understood and recently realized you did not. But something between you two has gone quiet in a way that does not feel like peace. Feels like waiting. It feels like the space before a storm decides what it wants to do. That kind of quiet has a texture to it, Aries, and you have felt it. You have probably been moving around it. Because you are someone who prefers forward motion, who would rather charge toward the next thing than linger in the uncomfortable space between two people who have things left to say. But this tension has not dissolved on its own. It has not faded the way lesser things do. It keeps showing up in the room whenever you are with this person, or even when you think about them. There is something waiting there, something patient and persistent, and that persistence is a sign. Unspoken tension in a relationship is not always a sign that the relationship is broken. Very often, it is a sign that the relationship is real enough to hold weight, real enough to carry more than small talk, real enough to deserve a genuine conversation. The fact that you have both been circling something without naming it means that you both sense it is important. You both know that once the words are spoken, things will change. And change, even good change, requires a kind of bravery that most people have to work up to. Aries, your fire energy is not just about speed and action. It is also about truth. You have a deep relationship with honesty. You respect people who say what they mean. You admire directness. And somewhere in you, there is a recognition that the tension in this relationship is calling for that exact quality. The directness you value, the honesty you respect, the willingness to say the thing that has been left unsaid. This conversation is not something to dread. It is something to move toward. The timing is gathering itself right now. The universe has been nudging this situation forward slowly and intentionally. You may have noticed small moments, a look, a pause in conversation, a message that was started and then deleted, that signal the other person is also feeling the pressure of what has been left unsaid. That is not your imagination. That is the situation preparing itself. Both of you are being readied for the release that is coming. When that conversation happens, something will lift. Not just between you and the other person, but inside you. Because carrying unspoken truth has a weight to it that you may have grown so used to that you have stopped noticing it. But the relief will remind you. The clarity that comes after honest words will feel like breathing deeply for the first time in a while. This relationship, whatever form it takes after the conversation, will be more solid, more real, and more aligned with who you are now than it has been in a long time. That is the release the universe is preparing for you. If what you are hearing feels accurate, know that it could happen if you applied this energy consistently for 21 consecutive days. That is the 21-day challenge pinned at the top of this channel. It is built around daily guidance, focused direction, and real momentum. If you are tired of staying in the same cycle, that structure is exactly what has been missing. Clue 3. You keep being reminded of someone you have not fully resolved things with. They show up in your thoughts when you are not trying to think of them. A song comes on and something tightens in your chest. You see a familiar color or smell something that takes you back, or pass a place that holds a memory, and suddenly they are there, vivid, real, present in your mind, even though they are absent from your life. This is not nostalgia in the ordinary sense, Aries. This is the universe using every available channel to point your attention toward unfinished business. There is someone, and you likely already know who it is, with whom things did not end in a way that felt complete. Maybe words were left out. Maybe the ending was abrupt or confusing, or shaped more by circumstance than by choice. Maybe you parted ways without ever quite saying what needed to be said, and there has been a quiet ache in that space ever since. Not necessarily a painful ache. Sometimes it is more like a question that was never fully answered, a thread that was never tied off. The repeated reminders you keep receiving are not accidents. When the universe wants your attention, it does not send one quiet nudge and give up. It sends the same signal through different channels, through memories, through songs, through the appearance of something that reminds you of them, until you finally turn toward it. You are being turned, Aries. Your attention is being redirected toward this unresolved situation, because the window for resolution is opening. This does not necessarily mean that reaching out will look the way you might imagine. It does not mean dramatic declarations or complex explanations. Sometimes resolution is simply a willingness to send one honest message, to say what you actually meant, to acknowledge something that deserved to be acknowledged before. And sometimes the resolution does not even require contact. Sometimes it requires a conversation with yourself, a decision about what you choose to release and what you choose to carry forward. But what is clear is that the universe has identified this person and this situation as something that belongs in your awareness right now. The timing of these reminders is not random. They are clustering in your days and nights right now because something is shifting either in you or in the situation, or in the energy between you, that makes resolution not only possible but close. Something is being returned to you for review, for completion, for an ending that actually feels like one, or a beginning that can finally begin. Your fire energy, Aries, does not like loose ends. You are built for clean action, clear direction, and full commitment. An unresolved situation is the opposite of all of those things. It occupies energy. It sits in the background and hums quietly even when you are focused on everything else. Resolving it, in whatever form resolution takes, will free up something inside you that has been quietly occupied for too long. The universe is making sure you do not miss the moment when that becomes possible. Clue 4. Something inside you has been building the courage to speak. There is a feeling that has been growing in you, slowly and quietly, over recent weeks. It is the feeling of gathering yourself, of standing a little straighter inside, of noticing that the fear that once accompanied a particular truth has become a little softer, a little less sharp. You have been building something. You may not have named it yet, but you can feel it. A slow accumulation of readiness, a growing certainty that the time is approaching for you to say something you have not yet said. Courage for someone like you, Aries, is rarely the problem. You lead, you act, you go first. But there is a different kind of courage that even the most naturally bold person has to work toward. The courage of vulnerability, the courage of honesty in the territory of the heart. Speaking a truth that puts something real at risk is different from charging into a challenge. It requires a kind of trust in yourself and in the other person that does not come automatically, no matter how fierce your fire. And yet, that is exactly what has been building in you. There is a truth, maybe about how you feel, maybe about what you need, maybe about something that happened that changed you, that has been sitting quietly in the center of your chest. You have circled it. You have thought about it from different angles. You have asked yourself whether the time is right, whether the person is ready, whether you are ready. And recently, those questions have begun to feel less like obstacles and more like formalities. Because somewhere in you, the decision has already been made. You are not the kind of person who speaks carelessly. When you choose to say something important, you mean it fully and you commit to it completely. That is why this gathering of courage matters so much. Because you do not move toward vulnerable words unless you are truly prepared to stand behind them. And right now, that preparation is very nearly complete. You are almost there. You can feel it. The universe does not build courage in you for no reason. Every time you have found yourself sitting with this truth and not quite speaking it yet, something else has been happening. Your clarity has deepened, your certainty has settled, your understanding of what you actually want to say has sharpened. You are not behind. You are not taking too long. You are being made ready in exactly the way this particular conversation requires. And when the readiness is full, when that inner signal says now, you will know. And you will speak. And it will change things in the most necessary and beautiful way. Clue 5. A third person is about to bring information that opens the door to the conversation. Not every important conversation begins with the two people it is between. Sometimes a third voice is the one that creates the opening. Someone who shares a piece of information, who brings a shift in perspective, who says something that suddenly makes the path forward visible. Aries, there is a messenger on the way. Someone whose words, whether intentional or entirely casual, will give you exactly the piece you needed to move forward. This messenger may not even realize the significance of what they are sharing. They may think they are simply passing along news, or catching up, or filling in a gap in your understanding of a situation. But what they bring will land inside you with a weight that tells you it matters. It will connect to something you have been thinking about, something you have been circling, something you have been trying to understand, and suddenly a piece of the picture you were missing will fall into place. There is a kind of grace in this. The universe rarely arranges things in a straight line. It works in layered ways, through unexpected channels, through the timing of ordinary moments that turn out not to be ordinary at all. The arrival of this messenger is one of those moments. It is not a coincidence that someone will show up and say something that unlocks a door you have been standing in front of. It is the architecture of a situation that has been building toward resolution, and this person is one of the pieces of that architecture. When the information arrives, pay close attention to your first inner response. Not the overthinking, not the analysis, the very first flash of feeling that happens before your mind has a chance to sort through it. That first response will tell you what you already knew. It will confirm a suspicion, or dissolve a fear, or give you a permission you did not know you were waiting for. And from that moment, The conversation you have been building toward will feel not only possible but necessary and right. Aries, your instincts are among your most powerful tools. Trust them when this moment arrives. Do not talk yourself out of what you feel immediately after the information lands. That first feeling is your truth, and it deserves to be honored. The third voice that is coming is not a distraction or an interruption. It is a gift. It is the universe using an unexpected hand to give you what you need so that the real conversation, the one that matters, can finally begin. Clue 6. Your emotions around a specific topic are unusually intense right now. You have probably noticed that you are not responding to a certain subject the way you usually would. A topic that you have managed to keep at arm's length, that you have been able to discuss calmly or avoid entirely without much difficulty, has recently begun to carry more emotional charge, catches you off guard, pulls at something deeper than you expected. The feelings that rise up around it are stronger, closer to the surface, harder to set aside and move on from than they were before. This is not you losing control of your emotions, Aries. This is your emotional truth making itself undeniable. The intensity you are feeling around this specific topic is a signal, a very clear one, that this is the area where something needs to move, needs to be spoken, needs to be met with honesty instead of managed with distance. The universe turns up the volume on our emotions when it wants to make sure we do not walk past something important. And right now, that volume is being turned up for a reason. For someone with your fire energy, emotions are fuel. They are not obstacles and they are not weaknesses. They are information delivered through feeling, and when they are this strong around a particular topic, they are telling you something vital. They are telling you that this topic is not finished for you, that you have not said everything you need to say about it, that the version of you who has been keeping it contained has done a good job, but that containing it any further is no longer what is being asked of you. Let yourself feel what you feel around this topic without immediately trying to redirect it. Sit with the intensity for long enough to understand what is underneath it. Because underneath strong emotion, especially for you, Aries, there is almost always a very clear desire. A need that has been patient enough. A truth that has been waiting for permission to be spoken. The emotion is not the destination. It is the road sign. It is pointing you toward what you actually want to say, toward what actually needs to happen, toward the conversation that is already preparing itself to arrive. The unusual intensity of your feelings right now is one of the strongest clues the universe can give you. It is not subtle. It is impossible to miss once you recognize it for what it is. Your emotions are not working against you. They are working with the forces that are already in motion, preparing the ground, softening the inner resistance, making sure that when the conversation comes, you will have the full power of your truth behind every word you speak. If this message is resonating with your sign right now, trust that it is not a coincidence. When the universe wants to speak to you, it sends exactly the right signal at exactly the right moment. And you are here because you needed to hear this today. Your support, whether as a subscriber or as a member of this community, is what keeps these messages alive. The ones that touch hearts, awaken minds, and transform lives. If this video has been making sense to you, drop in the comments the day you were born. Let us keep going. Clue 7. You sense that someone close to you is also waiting to say something. There is a quiet knowing that has settled over you recently when you are around a particular person, or even just when you think about them. A sense that they, too, are carrying something, that there are words gathering in them the same way words have been gathering in you. You catch it in the way they pause before answering, in the way a certain topic seems to hover just beneath the surface of every conversation you have, in the way they look at you sometimes as if they are about to say something and then step back from it. Aries, you are perceptive. More perceptive than people sometimes give you credit for, because your boldness tends to draw the most attention. But underneath that bold exterior is someone who reads people very well, who picks up on subtle shifts in energy and in behavior. And what you are picking up from this person right now is real. They are carrying something. They are waiting for a moment that feels safe enough or right enough or necessary enough to say what they have been holding. This is not something to feel anxious about. It is something to receive with openness. When two people are simultaneously preparing to speak, the conversation that emerges tends to be one of the most genuine and important exchanges they will ever have. There is no performance in it. There is no posturing. There is just two people who have each arrived at the same threshold from different directions, meeting each other in the middle with something real. Think about who this person is in your life. Think about the nature of what you suspect they might be carrying, and consider that whatever they have to say, it may be exactly the part of the puzzle you did not know you were missing. Their words might clarify something that has been confusing you. They might express something that mirrors what you have been feeling and have not been able to name. They might give you the very opening you have been waiting for to say what you need to say. The fact that you can sense this in them is itself a clue, a sign that the energetic field between the two of you is already active, already preparing the ground for the exchange that is coming. When both people in a relationship are standing close to the same truth, the distance between where you are and where you need to be is very small. The universe has been aligning this. You are close. The conversation that belongs to both of you is nearly ready to happen. Clue 8. A chance encounter is on its way that starts it all. Not every significant moment announces itself in advance. Sometimes the most important things begin in the most ordinary seeming ways. A face you did not expect to see in a familiar place. A phone call that comes at an unusual time. A moment when two paths cross that had not crossed in a while. For you, Aries, a chance encounter is being arranged right now. And while it will appear to be coincidence, it will carry the feeling, the immediate, unmistakable feeling, of something that was supposed to happen. Chance encounters have a specific texture to them. There is a quality of recognition that goes beyond simple familiarity. Something in you settles or sharpens, or lights up in a way that everyday meetings do not produce. You will know this encounter when it happens, not because you will have been expecting it, but because of the way it lands in your body, the way it changes the energy of the day, the way it opens something that had been waiting to be opened. This encounter is the beginning. It is the spark that starts the chain of events leading to the conversation that has been building. Whether it is a direct encounter with the person you need to speak with, or a meeting with someone who carries information that shifts everything, the effect will be the same. A door will open. Not with fanfare, not with drama, but with the quiet certainty of something that was always going to happen arriving exactly when it was supposed to. Aries, your nature is to respond to things as they come. You do not overplan. You trust your ability to act in the moment. And that quality, that instinctive readiness, is exactly what this encounter will call for. There will not be a long window of deliberation. When it happens, you will feel the pull of it immediately. Your job is simply to be open to it. To not brush it aside as unimportant because it arrived without ceremony. To let yourself be moved by it, even just a little, in the direction it is pointing. The universe has very specific ways of bringing things together. And one of its most elegant tools is the chance encounter. A meeting that appears to be small but carries enormous consequence. A moment that looks ordinary from the outside but is anything but on the inside. Stay open. Stay present. When this encounter comes, you will feel it. And when you do, let it begin what it has been sent to begin. Clue 9. You have had dreams where you speak your truth freely. Your sleeping mind has been doing something remarkable lately. In your dreams, you have found yourself saying things you have not quite said in waking life. Speaking directly, without hesitation, without the weight of consequence pressing down on every word. You have had moments in your sleep where the truth simply came out, where you said exactly what you meant to someone who needed to hear it. And the feeling that followed was enormous. Not relief exactly. Something bigger than relief. Something that felt like rightness. Dreams are one of the most direct channels the universe uses to communicate with us. When your sleeping mind repeatedly places you in a scenario where you speak freely and honestly, it is not just processing the day. It is rehearsing you. It is showing you what becomes possible when you no longer hold back. It is giving you a taste of the freedom that waits on the other side of the conversation you have been preparing to have. And it is doing this deliberately because that taste of freedom is meant to pull you forward. Pay attention to how you feel when you wake from those dreams. Even before your mind fully engages, before the day's logic kicks in, there is a residue of emotion from what you experienced in the dream. A brightness, a sense of expansion, a feeling of being lighter than you were before. That residue is real information. It is your deeper self confirming what your conscious mind already suspects. That saying what is true will free something inside you that has been held for too long. Aries, you are not a person designed for containment. You are built to express, to move, to act, to lead with your full energy rather than a careful measured portion of it. When you are withholding something important, it shows up in your dreams. Your inner world will not stay quiet about it. And right now, your inner world is being very clear. It is showing you night after night what it looks and feels like to simply say the truth, to stop carrying it, to let it be heard. Let those dreams embolden you. Let them remind you that the version of you who speaks freely is not a fantasy. It is the real you, the truest you, the you that exists when the fear is quiet and the courage is full. That version of you is not far away. It is very close. It is the version of you that the coming conversation is calling forward. Clue 10. The universe has been setting up the right timing and the right setting. There is a very particular kind of preparation that happens before an important moment, a convergence of conditions that makes the moment possible, that makes the words land the way they are supposed to land, that creates the right kind of space for something real to be exchanged. You may not see this preparation clearly as it is happening. You rarely can. But looking back, you will recognize it. You will see that certain things moved in just the right sequence, that certain people were placed in certain positions, that certain opportunities cleared themselves from your path so that this one thing could happen. That preparation is happening now, Aries. The universe has been quietly arranging the conditions for a conversation that needed specific ingredients. The right timing, the right emotional readiness in both of you, the right absence of distraction and noise, the right inner clarity on your part about what you actually want to say. None of those things have been left to chance. They have each been built piece by piece through the events and the shifts of the recent weeks. You have probably felt a sense of things aligning without fully understanding why. Small inconveniences that actually cleared your schedule. Interactions that shifted your perspective in subtle but important ways. Moments of quiet that arrived unexpectedly and gave you the space to think. Those were not random. They were the architecture of what is coming. The universe using ordinary moments to build the conditions that an extraordinary conversation requires. Trust the timing, Aries. Even if it does not arrive on the schedule your impatient fire energy might prefer. Even if it feels like things are taking longer than they should. The timing is not arbitrary. It is precise. It is being calibrated to the moment when both you and the other person, and the situation itself, are exactly ready. Rushing it would change what is possible within it. The right setting matters. The right emotional temperature matters. The universe understands this, and it is getting everything into position with care. You are very close to the moment when all of these conditions converge. The preparation is nearly complete, and when the window opens it will feel unmistakable. A sense of now, a feeling of the stars aligning in real time, a recognition that this is the moment. When that feeling comes, step into it without hesitation. The universe has done its part. It has set the stage. The conversation is yours to have. Clue 11. Your heart already knows what it wants to say. You have been searching, in some ways, for clarity, trying to find the right words, the right approach, the right moment. But there is something you may not have fully acknowledged yet. You already know. Not with your mind. Your mind is still sorting through options and considerations. But your heart has known for a while. It has known what it wants, what it needs, what it hopes for, what it is willing to fight for, and what it is ready to release. And if you were to stop and listen to it, really quietly, fully listen, the words would come without effort. This is the final and most important clue, Aries. Not because it reveals something new, but because it reveals something that has been true all along. The conversation that is coming is not going to require you to figure out something you do not yet know. It is going to require you to say out loud what you have already known in silence. The work is not in the discovery. The work is in the speaking. Your heart is a very clear voice when you give it room. It does not speak in complicated sentences or careful qualifications. Speaks in direct, simple, certain truths. It says, I love this, or I need this to change. It says, I am ready, or I am done. It says, this matters to me more than I have been admitting. Those are the sentences that carry real power in a real conversation. Not the rehearsed speeches or the carefully constructed explanations. The simple, heart-direct truth. Aries, your fire energy was made for moments like this. You are not someone who shrinks from truth once you have fully committed to speaking it. You are someone who steps forward, looks the situation in the eye, and says what is real. And what is real inside you right now is something your heart has been holding with extraordinary care, waiting for the moment when you were brave enough to let it be heard. That moment is nearly here. The conversation is nearly here. Every clue that has appeared in your life has been pointing to this. To a you who steps into an important moment with your heart open and your words clear, who allows something true to be said and something necessary to shift. You are ready, Aries. Your heart has been ready for longer than you know. And when the conversation comes, you will speak and it will be exactly right. If this message resonated with your sign, trust that it is not a coincidence. When the universe wants to speak to you, it always sends exactly the right signal. And you are here because you needed to hear this today. Your support as a subscriber or as a member of this community is what keeps these messages alive. They are the messages that touch, awaken, and transform. If this video made sense to you, leave in the comments the day you were born. Aries, what you have just heard is not a prediction in the ordinary sense. It is a reflection of what is already true inside you and around you. The conversation that is coming is not something that might happen one day if everything falls into place. It is something that is already in motion, already being shaped by the choices you have been making, the courage you have been building, the truth you have been carrying. Every clue in this message has been pointing to something that is real and near and already yours. The most important thing you can do right now is this: stay open. Keep listening to the quiet signals that have been arriving. Keep paying attention to the person who keeps returning to your thoughts, to the unspoken words that keep pressing for release, to the dreams that keep showing you what freedom feels like. These are not distractions. They are directions. They are the universe using every available channel to make sure you do not walk past the moment when it arrives. You are Aries. You are made of fire and forward motion and genuine courage. You do not look away from important things, even when they are difficult, even when they require something of you, even when they ask you to be vulnerable in ways that do not always come easily. That is your nature. And your nature is exactly what this moment is calling for. The conversation that is coming will change something. Not because conversations always change things, but because this one will be honest. Because it will be real. Because it will say what has needed to be said and create space for what has needed to happen. And when it is over, when the words have been spoken and the silence that follows settles into something new, you will feel it. You will feel the shift, the release, the opening, the beginning of whatever comes next. Trust what has been building in you, Aries. Trust the clues you have been receiving. Trust that the universe does not go to this much trouble for nothing. It does not arrange this many signals, this much preparation, this much inner readiness without a reason. The reason is real. The conversation is real. And you, Aries, are more than ready to have it. Step forward when the moment comes. Speak from your heart. And let it change you in exactly the ways you have been quietly hoping it would.